We're talking about kids in school. Here's an interesting issue.
Thank you.
There was a sophomore named Mary Kate Durkee who was refusing to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, I guess kids, obviously they say this all the time. They certainly did when I was in school. She said she does not want to show respect for a country that allows violence and corruption. Well, you know, what country, yeah. What?
I don't really know.
Hey, let's face it, we've all got bugs up our ass. You know, I mean, everybody is uptight about everything. You even got a kid. You know, in the morning, I wasn't even awake yet. I had had a Pop-Tart. I was in a sugar coma. They could have got me to stand up and, you know, read the liner notes from Quadrophenia. I wouldn't have known the difference. This kid's actually sitting there with an attitude. This is going to be a performance artist at a coffee house somewhere in the next 5 years. I can tell you that.
She's a sophomore in high school, right?
A sophomore in high school and refusing to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I don't have a problem with that.
You don't?
It's fine, whatever she wants.
There's another issue there. Nobody should be forced to say the Pledge of Allegiance, but the real issue for schools is, will we continue to maintain an atmosphere where people can say the Pledge of Allegiance? It was 10 years ago this month. We had a Democratic candidate for president, Michael Dukakis, who didn't want anyone to say the Pledge of Allegiance in schools.
Your musings perplex me.
Dr. Lovelace. Well, I don't think Michael Dukakis didn't want people to... I don't remember that. That was a silly campaign with two silly candidates, one of whom won. But...
But I mean, you know, there are a lot of people who wouldn't have an atmosphere where you can say the Pledge of Allegiance in our schools.
I know. Well, I don't know anyone who's ever proposed that. I think, you know, this is a country where whether you think everything is right about it or not, if you're going to live in it, maybe you should say that you think that it is your country.
Well, but that attitude, fortunately, is more prevalent today. If you go back 10 years, if you go back 20 years, when the country was much further left, the mainstream attitude was very different. But the change has been very gradual.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, there was a substantial chunk of the Democratic Party and the left-wing establishment in this country who would have agreed, who did agree with Michael Dukakis. But today, both parties are much closer to the center.
That's that old...
I can't even follow that.
Well, it's...
I'm Australian.
This conversation is dead. Hello.
Let's get Kevorkian in here.
No, I don't know. I think that I come from a different country where things are a little different. If you choose to not say what you want to say, that's fine. That's fine. But, I mean, to make a big issue out of this girl not wanting to say the Pledge of Allegiance, isn't there other more important things?
This is a kid. I'll tell you what.
Sorry.
This is a little girl. She's at home. She's listening to the Lilith Fair soundtrack, and her mom's sticking her head in the door right now and go, "Hey, baby, you made the Bill Maher show!" Yeah. You know, this is what happens in this country. Anybody acts like an iconoclast, and we're talking about it that night. This is what she wants.
She made headlines all across the country.
I mean,
but I think, yeah.
It's the same. I don't know whether Monica Lewinsky, for me in a country, it's very different. I mean, if the budget's running smooth, the country's happy. If the country, she did. Yeah. But if the country's happy, if the people are happy, if all is well, then leave them alone. It's just sort of.
But what you're saying is, if the country's happy, if the people are happy, that's today. A Pledge of Allegiance is about who can you count on when things aren't so good. Are you going to stand up and be counted? Are you saying that you are part of us, or are you not? Yeah. And I think if you're in a government-sponsored school, a government runs, but paid for, it's tax dollars. I mean, that's the least you can do is say, hey, you know what? Yeah, okay, I pledge allegiance to this country, and I'm going to try to make it better. If I think I can't make it better, then I'll leave.
What about having people in schools? People in schools? In Australia, we have counsellors, and in every government-run school, there's a counsellor. And every month, every student has to go and see the counsellor and talk about what's going on with them. So maybe a counsellor could find out what's the problem. Maybe she's upset about something. As you said, she's listening to some song. She's pissed off about the boyfriend. Something's happened, and it's caused her to be, I'm not saying that. Now, maybe it's something kind of small, and it's become this very big thing, and we're here talking about it, and really, how important is it?
They kept score in her soccer game, maybe.
Well, you know, I think there is a connection.
Good for you, huh?
But I can't make it now because we have to take a commercial, but we'll be...